All right, buckle up. We're going to talk about some Joker Folie Deux spoilers. This is not me just reading the spoilers. I'm going to talk about them, give context, and just like what I thought about them, because I think this movie has quite a few things that could be spoiled that are not present in the marketing, and I had heard some of them before I saw the movie. There's only so much you can do, like especially if you spend as much time on the internet as I do, where you won't just bump into some of these ever so often. But I do think just in terms of the marketing, the way they've been hiding the fact that it is a musical, which it's kind of a musical, but the way that they've been hiding that, they have also hid some other things that I think are interesting. I'm gonna start with the biggest spoiler for me, or the biggest thing that I want to talk about in the spoiler talk of this movie, which is the reason I don't think people that loved Joker 1 will like this is because this movie feels like a movie about Joker 1. Not the same way that it's a movie that follows Joker 1, but it is a movie where all the characters are going, remember all that stuff that happened in Joker 1? That was messed up. That guy is the victim because he is, clearly being manipulated. He had this weird childhood and like making the case for Arthur that he was trying to make in Joker 1. But you have other characters that are saying, no, Joker's like an idea, man. He's cool and he's telling the truth. And we gotta like respect the Joker. And he can't give up his Jokerness just so he can live. That's not what the Joker would do. So I like that. I think the movie comes down on the side of, hey, maybe it kind of stinks to be the Joker. And maybe you shouldn't do it. And I do think that this movie becomes, by the end, and I think that, these movies were always like this because he kills a guy on television, but the first movie didn't feel like a critique of television because he wasn't really a part of television, right? Arthur was like on television. He became a somewhat viral sensation, enough to get him on this talk show, but like not a humongous star. Whereas now you have this character who's effectively become like, and I don't really watch a lot of true crime, so I don't know the details or who are the guys, but like a character, a figure like I guess Charles Manson or something, who did crimes, exists in jail, and has other people outside of jail that are like, you're the best, we love you. And maybe there's, I don't think Charles Manson, well, I don't know, maybe he had this many people because Joker has thousands of people at this trial. And I think part of it is that Joker is inherently a somewhat sympathetic character. Like obviously he's killing people and he's kind of a weirdo, but you also see everything that led up to that, and especially like people are harassing him on the subway, and he got carried away, killed the extra guy. But like in the beginning, this character just keeps getting beat up. So what's he supposed to do? Totally get it. Not totally get it, but I can see how this character could be thought of as like complicated and somewhat misunderstood. Like he has these urges and violent tendencies and all of that's built into him, and maybe that has to do with abuse he had when he was a kid, but the city brings it out of him. If he were just able to live a normal life where kids didn't steal his sign and beat him up, and then guys didn't try to fight with him on the subway, he'd just be normal. But this city is the problem. It's antagonizing him in a way that like is wrong. I think that is part of the premise for Joker 1. I think is interesting. But the movie treats Arthur Fleck like a celebrity, but at the same time he is on trial and will die if he fails the trial. He's up for the death penalty, which I don't know, man. In the 80s in New York, did we have a death penalty? That seems a little extreme, but I don't know, man. Also, this does take place in New York. Like they always do this in these Batman movies. The first one, like Batman Begins, Joker, really go out of their way to make it kind of a new place. Like, yes, obviously you're going to recognize the stairs and certain landmarks, but like you're feeling the Gotham. It's not just New York. And then the second one, Folie Deux, Dark Knight, it's New York. It's the New York you know and love. There's all the buildings you recognize and the bridges and stuff, but whatever. So like the state of New York is going to kill Arthur if he cannot pretend at least to not be the Joker. If he can sell that he has two personalities, an Arthur personality and a Joker personality, gets to live, but all the people that like him now will not like him anymore because he'll say that he's not the Joker, right? It's an interesting conundrum, but it's made much worse by Harley, who I would say is the villain of this movie. Like, as much as Arthur's also the villain, but if you want to call him like, this complicated anti-hero, whatever, she is this, devil on his shoulders just saying, no, light fires cause problems, like wear your stupid Joker makeup to court. It's all gonna be cool because you're Joker and we love you. And she's having sex with him, which is weird. This is the thing. This is the problem with this movie. And I think, but why I almost think it is swung, the pendulum has swung to being aware. Whereas in the first one, I would be like, do they get it? With like certain bits. With this one, I'm like, I think they get it. There's a sex scene that is awful. Starts with a very big musical number. Like it's the end, I think, of a song they're singing, sitting around, not doing musical stuff, just like karaokeing. And it ends with them having sex in a very like gross way. You don't see it, but it's very like, I don't know, matter of fact. But then the music cuts out and it's just them doing it. And you are forced to be like, ugh, this is weird. And it does kind of feel like that's the point the movie is trying to make. But based on how much Joker 1 felt like it wanted to be about everything and wanted to have all of these crazy questions it was asking, but not actually ask questions. If that happened to Joker 1, I'd be like, I don't know, maybe they thought it was cool. But with this one, I'm like, I think they knew that looked bad. And they wanted it to seem bad. Like they wanted us, the audience, to see it and go, that's not cool. So because Joker does, in the end, like make his plea that I am the victim, the city did this to me, kind of forced me to make these murders, even confesses to another murder, the murder of his mother, which, you know, I like isn't a good thing to do, but confessing is good. That we can all agree is good. It feels like he has this emotional journey over the course of the movie, and he loses Harley, but he does kind of find some bit of himself. And he loses the trial, first of all, but like fine, like a character like this, either being forced to pretend to be this other guy so he can live forever and also, you know, kill lots of people, or be honest for once and then be executed. Like that's totally an arc these movies can take. And like, to be fair, he did all those murders. So the movie ends with Harley and all the fans of Joker walking out of the courtroom saying like, you're not the real Joker, man. You're not cool and edgy like we thought, which kind of feels like what certain fans of Joker 1 who got really into Joker 1, how they would react to this character doing this too, feeling betrayed. I swear there was at least one person in the audience as we were leaving said something to the effect, like I heard this person talking with a friend there, said something to the effect of like, so what was the point of that? If he's not Joker, who cares? And like, that's really interesting to me because I think that's the point of that, right? Is he's not Joker, and he, you know, because of celebrity and these people that were worshiping him and this, you know, potential love of his life that made everything complicated. Like he was tricked into thinking he was kind of, or maybe he wasn't, but I don't know. It just feels like there's more meat on this bone than was on the first one. And to be fair, I saw this in an AMC in New Brunswick, I want to say. I'm only saying this because I saw the Monday screening, 7 p.m. I went after the movie, like I always do, went to the bathroom. As I was using the bathroom, 3 guys walked in talking to each other, and one of them said, bro, I can't believe. And then the other one said, dude, no spoilers in the bathroom. And the other one was like, yeah, I got Infinity War spoiled for me in the bathroom at one time. And then another one said, yeah, I didn't even really like Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, but I got one spoiled for me in the bathroom too. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've been on a real tear recently about theater etiquette being bad. People being on their phones and whatever. And overall, I was pretty far up, so I didn't see very many phones, but people were fine during this screening. Like those guys saying that in the bathroom, great. That needs to be like a rule from now on. You do not talk about the movie until you get into the car. Love it. Especially a movie like this where in the end the Joker gets stabbed and dies. But yeah, I guess I like that it feels like by the end of this movie, the kind of conclusion the movie came to was like all this Joker shit was for nothing. It made a lot of noise and got a lot of attention, and he got some fans that showed up and, you know, cheered him on when he was doing his Joker routine. But in the end, like A, they don't really care about him, and B, they were never going to. I think a Joker fanboy killing the Joker in this movie is like a pretty cool ending. I kind of like that. Like if that was the absolute end of the movie, I think I'd be like, cool. Especially because he kind of dies and goes to heaven, which is like the variety show, and has a little moment there, so that could be the end of it. I could not believe that the end of the movie is the guy that stabbed Joker. And for people that are just watching the video, haven't seen the movie, Joker's dead, he's stabbed, he's like dying, maybe, I don't know, probably wheezing on the ground. The guy that stabbed him, who did this in a room where nobody else was, so he's just giggling and he's got the knife. I swear this is what happens. Carves the smile, I believe it's called a Glasgow smile, into his face with that knife. Now, this is very, very fuzzy, like out of focus, so you don't see it too clearly, but like that's definitely what's happening. I'm sure there will be think pieces and videos and things like that that will try to connect this somehow to The Dark Knight as some sort of origin. Is this the origin for Heath Ledger's Joker? And it's like, of course not. No, it can't be. It's not even a little bit. Like, no, not the one we saw. A secret movie maybe that we didn't see. Because, and I don't think this was like the point, but like you would have to know that this is what people will think it's going for, is the Dark Knight, and just felt super unnecessary. And according to, and I believe I read that this was originally how Joker 1 was supposed to end. Joker was going to cut his own face up, and that was going to be like his big thing, but instead he just used the blood to make the smile. Probably because they knew they didn't want to have to deal with that in a second Joker movie, and probably because it would just be upsetting, and also probably because there's no reason to connect it to the Heath Ledger Joker. Like, he's the only other Joker besides Gary Cogan, I guess, maybe, but like, that has done that. It's not like it's a stable of Joker. It's like, obviously has the big scar. So the idea that you would reference that here feels so specific, but also so pointless, because of course he's not that guy. And if there's anybody who's trying to make this case, here's how you know he's not that guy. First of all, there's the DA Harvey Dent, whose face is now all scarred or something. But hey, maybe that it was even Aaron Eckhart, the young Aaron Eckhart. But second, in all of The Dark Knight, no one ever goes, you know what this reminds me of? That clown guy from the 80s. Remember him? Oh my God, yeah, he looks almost exactly like that guy. That's probably what we're doing. That's probably what his deal is. And it just feels so pointless, and I think it really spoils what I think is a kind of cool ending. And I was thinking about this in the car ride home, and like, this isn't me once in a while changing the movie, like maybe it is a little bit, but whatever. Just have the guy that stabs Arthur take some of Arthur's blood that he just stabbed and use that to make the smile on his face, because that's what he's doing. He's stealing the essence of this person, right? And using it to create this image that is going to last. And also it's a reflection of what happens at the last movie, where Joker did that to himself, but now it's like people are doing it with him. It's about art and public life and whatever taking from you. I think that would be an interesting ending, but instead it's like, no, remember 2008. Like, it just, I don't know. I didn't like it. What else? Harvey Dent being in this was fine. I like that you have a guy that's like clearly the stand-in for Harvey Dent. And if they called him anything else, you'd be like, just call the guy Harvey Dent. And they called him Harvey Dent, so that's cool. I don't know if there were any other like deep cuts to Batman characters, but none really jumped to mind. And I think I like, because I don't really like true crime. It is a genre I don't enjoy. Like, I never watch it. And it feels exploitative in a way that is like, and in a way that like, it's like, who are you exploiting? The Menendez brothers? Like, come on, Jeffrey Dahmer. But A, you end up exploiting the victims in a lot of these situations too. But B, like, I mean, you kind of are exploiting them, and they are also people. And it feels weird that because of these circumstances, we feel like it's okay to pick apart these people and like treat them as fictional characters. So I like that it felt like the movie did have like a take on that. I think that was pretty smart. Again, like, I think my biggest problem with this movie will just be that the musicals weren't musical. There was one musical that felt like a musical number, and that was the There's Always a Joker, because that started in the courtroom where we were, and he said a thing, and then everybody got involved. You know, Harley was dancing, he was beating up the members of the jury or whatever, and I guess it felt like a musical, specifically the moment for me, because he's going through the whole song, and like Heath Ledger, maybe a strong singer, not doing like a Josh Groban or anything here, like mostly reading, like mostly like screaming the words as Arthur Fleck. But he comes to the second verse and he goes to the jury box, and I don't remember what the line is, but it's a line in that second verse, and he like slams on the desk and he gets really angry. And it's that thing that I feel like is so familiar to people that watch a lot of musicals, where it's like, oh, we really are using the song to express these emotions. Whereas a lot of the other musical numbers were just Arthur singing or something. And you're like, that song is kind of what he's feeling now. But it didn't feel like the reality expanded, which is what is fun about music. But it could have, and it so should have. And, you know, again, I don't want to be in the business of telling people to make movies how to make movies. But like, because it did it in that one bit, I'm like, oh, you could have done this in all the other bits. And they do the bits where he's like, you know, dancing with her on the rooftop in front of the Hotel Arkham, or the bit where they're doing the Sonny and Cher show. But they felt like little vignettes. I don't know exactly how to describe the difference, but I guess because they didn't start in the world of the story, they started in like a character's imagination. It can be revealed to have been in the character's imagination, but I don't know. It didn't have that like little transition, that bit where the characters start singing and the reality starts expanding. I don't know. It'd be like if John Wick had like one incredible scene where he kills everybody with guns and stuff like that, and then just a bunch of other fight scenes where he just runs in, punches the guy, runs in, punches the guy, runs in, punches the guy, and then that's it. And it's like, but why aren't we doing the cool gun stuff? It's clear you can do it, so do it. I don't know. I wonder if they think they could get away with a Harley spinoff here. I don't think they should, because we already tried a Harley Quinn spinoff, and even though I think it's like the third, second, maybe best movie in the DCEU, it didn't make a ton of money, so it's probably not worth it. I guess if like the Gaga stans or whatever they call themselves, little monsters, right? That's the Lady Gaga fans. If they all come out for this and like it makes $1 billion, then I don't see why not. I'm kind of, I'm interested in this character. I wouldn't mind if there was a character in Joker's life now that was like, I want to get her because she is the problem. Like, she led Arthur down this path. The problem is he doesn't really have anybody in his corner, so there wouldn't be that character trying to expose Harley as a fraud or whatever. I guess maybe Catherine Keener. Also, spoiler stuff. When the building explodes, I knew there was a building exploding because it's in one of the trailers, and this was one of the things that got spoiled for me, like just by being on the internet. I knew it was coming, and clearly we're getting to the end of the trial, so like, of course it's gonna happen. I was shocked when Joker started walking towards that wall, because I'm like, oh, he's gonna have to be just kind of conveniently out of the way of the explosion. That's how he's gonna survive it. But no, he is fully, like, the whole wall goes down. He is thrown across the room, I assume with the most force of anybody in that room. I guess maybe you could say, yeah, Arthur can take all that pain because he gets beat up every day by random kids. But I don't know. It feels like another one of those things where you're supposed to be like, well, yeah, but obviously he died in that explosion. And, this is all in his head, except all this stuff that happens is pretty bad for him. So it's probably not all in his head. What else? Judge was fine. Liked when he interrogated his friend Puddles. That was a very interesting scene, and I think that Joker stuff was fun. Like, that's the thing. I don't like this Joker. I think he's quite annoying and like a bad person. Whereas I think at least like the Hamill Joker, he's very charismatic. I want to see more of him. There's this fine line, I think, with a character like Hannibal Lecter, say, who you don't like, but because of the raw charisma dripping off that actor, like, you can't not want to see more scenes with them. Like, the thing with Arthur Fleck is, like, I think Joaquin Phoenix is doing a good job, but I find this character so irritating that he has to be on full Joker mode, doing his little southern lawyer thing to make me not hate him. Just the tap dancing and the goofy faces is not enough. There's no Gary Goldman in this one, so not as good. Love Gary Goldman. This is book Misfit. Very good book. For those who don't remember, he's the comedian that's performing at the Comedy Club in the first Joker movie, and just overall a super funny stand-up comedian who I love seeing, and has also talked a lot about mental health. And that's the thing with these Joker movies, And that's why I think this movie felt more interesting and maybe more like, I don't want to say responsible, because I don't think it's the movie's job to like tell us all how to behave. But I guess it felt like this movie knew what it was saying, not about how society treats people with mental illness, because yeah, it treats them badly. Interesting, I guess, but like, it did. I don't think Joker 1 was able to go deeper than that, but Folie Dude's like, yeah, that's all true. But also, fans and spectators treat people with mental illness really weirdly, and like wanting them to indulge in things that they shouldn't because, they're addicted to the fame and that's all that people expect from them. Like, I think there is a movie there. I don't know. Man, did I like it? I'm talking myself into it. I still think there was a lot of stuff in the middle that was just kind of boring. And I think that's the thing that the movie musical could have solved, is the things from maybe the first, say, first hour at least, maybe the first hour 20. But once the actual musical stuff starts and the Jokery acting starts, I liked it a lot. That very last thing with the Heath Ledger Joker thing was so stupid. It left such a stupid taste in my mouth. I think if they hadn't done that, I would have been actually pretty cool with it. So yeah, that's my spoilery take on Joker, Folie, and Deux. What did you think? I know people say this, like, oh, put it in the comments. But, I am curious if people did, like, I like Joker 1, I didn't like this. I like this, I like Joker 1. Where are people on that? Because that's the question I really have. And, I'll see it on Twitter and the Discord subreddit, YouTube comments, whatever. But like, I'm curious about that. Oh, and also, I don't think I can fully hate Joker because it's not Megalopolis. That is a benefit. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. That's all I got. Stay safe. I'll see you next time.